Clumsy, Hippo's fake fiction. Well, I am on location in the living room in case you happen to hear Judge Judy or anything. Or the birds, because they're here too. Oh, my guest stars, my co-hosts, Blue and Yellow. I have no idea what he named them. I can't remember. I mean, I had an idea at one point, but I cannot remember what the hell those names were. So I call them Blue and Yellow. Blue boy, yellow girl. Okay. So this is a Flemmy edition episode of Fake Fiction that I'm recording late on Monday, but it's just been, it has been. And I got a big week because over the next 2 weeks, over the next actually 3 weeks, I've got just all sorts of appointments I'm running around. I'm going to be having to do. I'm still ahead, not as much as I was before, but I am still ahead. Like Wednesday's episode of Days of General Restlessness, which is episode number 6, is already recorded, so it'll be there like it's supposed to. But yeah, I decided, since my husband went to pick up a couple of things, run to the bank, get dinner, or something to cook for dinner, not get somebody else's cooked dinner. But I decided I'm going to record this out here, so I don't have to be in that closet till later. Not that it's bad in there, but I have to remember to take those ice packs in there because otherwise it'll warm up in that. Well, yeah, I'm literally sitting below the hatch thing for the crawl space of the apartments, which has been a thorn in my side the entire time we've lived here because potential things. I have, having to be open the closet door and, seen somebody looking in, but it was AT&T because they're fucking morons. They always have been and they still are. When they were laying their Comcast comes through, lays their fiber optic lines, and we never see them, hear them, anything. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know because we have Comcast or Xfinity, and so I don't know. I don't know if they had already put the fiber optic lines here at the time, waiting for the others to come in. Kind of what happened at my dad's house up in Tennessee. But like he was forced to have DirecTV for years because Comcast just did not go to where he was. I guess I should say they were, him and Mom. But AT&T comes in to do theirs, and I hear this noise in the bedroom, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I go in, and mind you, the way these apartments are, our kitchen, dining room, bathroom, that one long wall is the wall for the other side's apartment's kitchen, dining room, and bathroom. Our bedroom and bathroom are up against the other side's apartment's bedroom and bathroom and closets. So I hear this noise, and what the hell I don't know, maybe they had an outlet, or maybe they were, I don't know what the hell they were doing in the bedroom, because they didn't have to go in our bedroom, except to repair the hole, because I go in there, and suddenly I see a drill pop through the upper right corner of the wall, but not that close to the corner. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I heard voices, and first I saw his eyeball because he made a big ass hole, and I hear and then I hear voices above and movement above, and I open the closet door, and there's one of AT&T's people. Oh, this is the closet. I was like, of course it is. And I was like, somebody just drilled through. He's like, oh no. They were dropping the lines from up there in the attic space down through the walls, down 3 floors, all their fiber optic cables. Why the hell they had to do that, I have no idea. I've never seen them put in lines like that while I was living in an apartment. So I don't know how much that is done, but apparently when Xfinity was here because of our box or our line, or it was our connections. I think he replaced the connections, and that solved the problem. But he didn't seem to think it was anything out of the ordinary for them to have to do that. So I guess I mean, I understand if it has to be done because I never thought of it, but I get it. It's the most efficient way, I guess, to run them. And in an apartment system like this, but because you can drop it down in one spot and you get each cable connection in each apartment going down, because it's the same going down, up and down. So that was interesting, but yeah, they're retarded. Oh, not to mention the fact that then I get up like the next day, or I took a nap, or I went somewhere. I can't remember. I got up. It was waking up, I know. So it was either a nap or in the morning, or my morning. And I walk in here, and now there's a box on our wall, like where next to where our Xfinity cable, the coaxial cable, just screws right into it. Oh my God, that plate is filthy. Ooh, I wonder if it was ever white at some point. The AT&T box stands out in stark contrast because it is just white, and it's like like putty white. The putty that's really white, but it's like the size of if you had like when you look in a carton of cigarettes, and how the packs are in two rows, together, and you take out the two packs with the long sides against each other. That's about the size of that box, maybe 3 packs, and a little bit wider than a regular pack. But anyway, so that monster is right there, looking lovely, and lo and behold, there's something coming out of it, and there's a device sitting on our floor, and it's a router. Is what it is. It's, a cable box and a router sitting on the floor, plugged in, turned on. I have no access to it, so I have no idea if anything's being, sent in or out. I have no idea. And after the bad thing happened, this is, it's not okay to just randomly leave a fucking device in my apartment that I don't have access to. So, of course, immediately everything was unplugged. And honestly, I think I'm going to take off this white box and see what's ticking inside of it, because I'm just curious, because I hate AT&T. I hate them so bad. They are just horrible. And everybody's got problems. Everybody's got good points and bad points. Xfinity's no saint, but nobody is. And to expect perfection, especially people are like, but computers don't make mistakes. Yeah, well, a lot of people go into making that computer and making the programs, and it's glitches all the time and things like that. So but I don't even believe that a computer is perfect, because it's, of course, prone to age and environment and things like that. Yeah, God, what a tangent that was. All right, so what the hell? Where did I get on going on that? The cave, the drill. Oh, the closet. So yeah, I'm below the access hatch to the attic, which I've never liked. But fortunately, when we moved in, there was this bit of, it could be insulin. Insulin. Yeah, I doubt it's insulin. Sorry, we got a newly or diagnosed cat who's diabetic, and so I've got insulin on the brain. A little bit, a little fluff of insulation, and every time I walk in the closet, I've looked up to make sure. Now, this isn't just paranoia. Yeah, I would do this anyway, no matter what. And I know, well, secondhand that what can happen, because a very good friend of my mom's lived in an apartment complex that I had lived in a few years earlier. Or around the same time, and the maintenance guy was peeping on her. Other people too, but yeah, like had drilled holes in the ceiling of the shower, stuff like that. So that was creepy. And I mean, I feel so bad for her because, she was staying there because she was having, I think, having trouble with her husband. And then to have to endure that, God, men suck. I was on Second Life the other day and somebody said something about, how horrible women are. I said, oh, yeah, not like men who have both oppressed and treated women like property for thousands of years. And they shut up. Yeah, don't play that comparison game because you'll lose, Mr. Man. Men are shit. Whew. Possible exceptions of myself and my husband. Okay, so fake fiction. Here we are. Let's get back to it because I said Wednesdays, Days of General Restlessness, recorded, and I do have to listen to it, but it was a re-recording, so I was pretty, ready for it by the time I did record it. There were just too many little mistakes. I mean, I don't mind, some little mistakes because I'm not trying to be perfect, but I don't want it, I try not to let it affect the flow so that you lose your track because, only half hour, you lose your track and, you can be way off track. So, yeah, it's recorded and I've got to get to work on it and go over in between this busy couple of weeks, go back and read the next episode. So a couple times I'll be ready to record it, hopefully in one take. I got to go back to putting little notes or spaces in there to let me, so I can remember like something's coming up. Where you're going to, I use my own little, tips and things to let me know. Okay, modulation change or stress point coming up, or read this next part carefully, so shit like that because sometimes. And yeah, I know this, I've always known this, but, when you read something aloud, it gives you a better sense of how it's written, whether it's written clearly or not. And so, I go through and have to, since I'm reading it, not actually putting it through, I've already got it, on my blog, but, since I'm not actually some of it's on my blog, actually more of it's on my blog. And I put through, crap, damn it, ooh, well, I got a long way into that thought before I lost it. So, yeah, next week I'll read it a little bit better, and, oh yeah, notes for myself, yeah, because I'll be reading it, and I'll go, what the fuck did I write here? What does this mean? And then I say it aloud, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, so it's better that I'm reading it, because you hear the inflections and stuff that I can't put in writing, which is, the problem with text communication and email communication primarily. It's like, no, you need to hear tones and voices to, understand. Like, there's a big difference in, if you leave me, I'm going to kill you. And, if you leave me, I'm going to kill you. There's a big difference. So that's just an example. Okay. Not directed to him, of course. And then Friday's morning cereal is going to be, oh my gosh, Wednesdays. When I was reading it, I'd forgotten about a couple things. And I really, it's really amping up. But Friday, since Love Knows Nothing finished, I am going to it'll be a trailer for the next story, which I am 95% sure is going to be the one called Burners. And it is going to be a one-part story, so you'll be able to hear it all in one go. And something different is coming, because now I've been doing these little theme songs, and I've got them, and they're having them short. I got to try to. There's one, the morning cereal one, I've got to kind of pare down a tiny bit. It's just a bit long. I think the fake fiction one is the perfect length. But also when I had been writing some songs, I think I started last year. I would, or I've always pretty much listened to music before, when I was in preparations to write or anything, doing stuff and getting ready to write, listen to music, because I don't really listen. The only thing I listen to if I'm writing, it tends to be classical, because there are no words to distract me, and my subconscious mind loves the complexity of the melodies and the different instruments, and how intense and the magnitude of classical music, the way it is. And I think it helps me. I picture it, like the strands of my brain loosening and becoming unraveled, like an old Afghan that somebody crocheted. The holes start getting bigger and loosen up, and then ideas can flow through better. And so that's why if I'm writing, I would listen to classical music. Now TV is okay in the background because I can tune that out easily. But if I tune out partially the music, my subconscious still hears it, because every once in a while with TV I might hear a word or something and it'll distract me. And as you know now, by now if you've been listening, distractions are not good for my train of thought. So it'll be a trailer for Burners, and not until Burners the next week. But last year I was like, maybe I'll try writing a song for a story. My own song for a story. Of course, it wouldn't be the music because I'm no musician, but and no singer. But I can, write lyrics, and I'd never really done it because I've never been a huge fan of poetry. God, I hate Shakespeare. Oh, I hate Shakespeare. But I just cannot wrap my mind around what the fuck they're saying. And I mean, sometimes I can, but like Winnie the Pooh's, poems or whatever. But sometimes it's just I have to read it like somebody's writing me a letter or something. Somebody whose English isn't their first language is writing me a letter, because they just don't stick. I don't like them. I don't like poetry. I don't care for it. So naturally, I would decide to eventually try it through music, songs. It just hit me one day. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to write a song. So I started writing some songs, and some have to do with the stories I was writing at the time or had just written, usually. And then, of course, some personal. Other personal ones, love songs to Scott, or, breakup songs to, relive, like our precious Adele. And I think I'm getting better at it. I don't think I'm a genius yet, but I like them. And I thought I got off to a good start, and they have somewhat improved, but I've kind of put them aside for a while. And I want to get back to it because I have started recording them. I'm not a musician, like I said, but I found that I am quite loopy. I can whip up some loops, and and I'm learning. That's where I'm loving GarageBand is playing with these loops, and I started playing around with different effects for vocals. Of course, echo and reverb, and there's all sorts of things to tweak on there, like compression, which I have no idea what it means. I just move it around until I like the sound of it. So that's the wonder. What a time to be alive, isn't it? Where someone who can't sing and play a musical instrument can actually record an entire song. Well, it's a really short song, the one I've done so far, but it's the theme for Burners. So at the end of Burners, stay tuned, because there'll be a song, just like at the end of a movie when the credits roll. And so that's the big news for today, is that we have songs coming. Days of General Restlessness continues Wednesday, and Friday will be the trailer for Burners, and then the next week we'll have Burners, and then after that we'll be going back to the Slumberguard saga for Slumberguard 2. which will be 2 parts. It's possible that one might be 3 parts. It's a long one. They kind of 2 and 3 were longer and than 1, and then 4 I believe is the shortest of them all, but not by too much. And of course, this will be the debut of friends Rena and Colleen as future robots who are, well, partially responsible for the robot wars. Well, one of them. But it's going to get very in depth with the relationships between different people, that have come forward in time, or gone forward, I should say, in time. Let's see. Speaking of in time, I always thought that hotel from Somewhere in Time was in one of the Carolinas, and it's off Michigan, Mackinac Island. Just a little side note there, partially because I was remembering I've got my screensaver on my phone and my tablet are a picture of Mrs. Garrett, because she always, from Facts of Life and Different Strokes, because she always had that turn of the century, Little House on the Prairie, bun hair, and which is like when he went back in time in Somewhere in Time, what Jane Seymour had her hair like. And so when I saw that picture, I had to have it because I pictured Christopher Reeve, like, looking around. He turns and goes into that room and he sees the highlighted portrait, and instead of Jane Seymour, it's Mrs. Garrett. And he goes back to her. Okay, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to stop because I am going to go back into the studio when my husband gets back. And what's our router doing? Oh, interesting. And get to another the next song I'm working on recording, which is a personal one, not related to a story. Now, I kind of made this comparison, and Rena totally agreed with me. She liked the sound of it, and then after she heard it, she agreed with me because, when I got going on it, I'm like, what can I do? I can't sing worth shit. Well, of course, I found, very extreme tuning, and that made it much better. But it's not like, Adele. It's not like, even though, boy, Adele could really, have a song like Burners, but, it could be Jennifer Lopez, it could be Madonna, it could be, Lady Gaga or Ariana Grande or anybody really. And, wait a minute, what was I saying? Oh, it's just not, a very long song, because didn't need to be. And, it's short to make a point, actually. The one I'm working on now is longer. It's a, proper song. So I'm going to have to work with it. At some point, I'm going to swap it. Right now, what I've been doing is, I don't know. I think I've been doing it backwards, but that worked for me for Burners, because I've been recording the vocal part first. No music, just in my head. What I kind of, have in mind for tempo and whatever. And then I went through and I listened to different loops and, found certain ones that, really I felt, okay, in this spot, that'll be good, because I've learned how to, resize the loops so that, I can just pop it in a spot and boom, boom, boom. And then, you move on. So, yeah, this one's going to take a little bit longer, but so I'm going to introduce another person into, hopefully, maybe what I might do with the songs, because I told Rena that to me it was like some kind of, musical marriage between, okay, don't laugh, William Shatner, because I can't sing, but, with echo and other tweaks, I can do something. But anyway, William Shatner and Laurie Anderson. And if you don't know who Laurie Anderson, look her up, because Words really can't describe. Look up "Oh Superman." That was from way back, and it's just the letter O and then Superman. You should know how to spell that. And then, for more recent, I listened to "Strange Angels." I really like that one, or "Monkey's Paw." Those are off the same album, a little more recent. But I love, she, and of course, lately I've really, been loving Netta from Israel, the one who won Eurovision last year. And, she's not playing an instrument. Well, she is, but not in the classical terms, an instrument. Because, not a piano, but she's working electronically. And that's kind of what I'm doing in a much more minor way. But I'm just, kind of getting going on this. And they, help me, inspire me, even though if you got to get on there and watch a video of Netta live. Somebody get her over here to have a good dinner and play and have fun night with us. I won't tell anyone, I promise. But watch her live on Eurovision and other shows. She can sing. Okay, she's got beautiful, sweet voice. Sweet little vibrato, and but so she's not just like me effects singer. Or every hip-hop rap artist. I'm using autotune because I have to. Well, that's why they're doing it. But I'm not, doing it to an extreme where, every song, you could just harkens back to Share and Believe, which was fun and funny and a novelty until suddenly everybody was like, oh. But see, Cher doesn't need it to sing, but go ahead, overuse it just like everybody else, and have your 45 guest stars on your song because you can't sing. If you can rap, if you want to rap. If you also want to sing, you better be able to sing too. Otherwise, you're only doing half your job. So why not just stick with rap or hip hop? Music and one or the other. Because some people can sing and then they try to rap and it's just like, ooh, epic fail. So it goes both ways, and for anybody, because anyway, okay, where was I with that? Oh yeah, so my voice is terrible, but I'm using effects. Kind of getting inspiration from, well, I've always been thinking about the William Shatner thing because they're hilarious, but they work for him. And I knew I wouldn't want to do it the same exact way. And, when I got the, my idea in my head of how I wanted it to sound, it just came out like it did, and I thought, that's kind of like, William Shatner and Laurie Anderson, a mix. They're like, if they had a musical child, or some kind of shared musical instrument. And today, or on this song I'm working on now, because when I sing along to this artist, there is a part of it that I can do better than others. Like I do really bad on the singing, but I don't care if I'm alone. I just feel sorry for the neighbors sometimes. But the part I do better on is the kind of yelling. And, Dolly Parton does it too. And I can do that a little bit also. Because I love that, she'll just, belt out what she's saying. Now, she doesn't have the most powerful voice. She doesn't have the, big vibrato and things like that. But, you don't have to. And she's fucking proof of that for sure. But I'm thinking of Sinead O'Connor. Now, she, really yells. Now, she's another... Actually, she doesn't have, a lot of vibrato, but the power behind her voice is a lot stronger. You can just feel more force coming from her. The force is strong in your mouth, Sinead. So, I think, when I'm thinking about this song, I'm like, okay, Burners was kind of low-key, very low-key, and... that was fine because of the, what the subject matter was based on the story. But this song, I need a different, feel to it. And, while I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is still too just, very level. And I'm like, I need to shake it up. And so I'm like, oh, the yell singing. I love it. I'll try it. So that's what I'm working on, and I will share that, even though it doesn't have anything to do with one of the stories. It'll pop up as a what do they call them? Not trailer. See, not bonus. That's it. Bonus episode. Because I'll probably want to share them too, and burners you'll hear at the end of that. And that's a little over 30 minutes, so I'm going to call it done. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. And I guess you'll hear me Wednesday and Friday. And it's very possible, with it being so busy this week, that my mind will stay awake long enough to think of a reason to do a bonus fake fiction episode. Until then, see you later.